Super Mario World. You know, I want more of this, and thankfully, the game did get a sequel on the Super Nintendo. It's a phenomenal game, but where does this game go off saying that it's a sequel? I mean, I know that it's only a sequel pretty much so that it would sell better, but come on, I want more of the basic Mario World formula. Well, thankfully, we can get the basic Mario World formula, and I'm gonna hide away in my room here while we play these Mario World hacks. Start off, we're gonna take a look at Super Mario World Return to Dinosaur Land. What a lovely looking game this is. Throughout the years, something that always piqued my interest was Super Mario World hacks. After seeing random screenshots all over the early dial-up internet era, I just wanted a piece of it. And perhaps the first one I actually remember seeing by name is Return to Dinosaur Land, which acts as a sequel of sorts, unlike the actual sequel that we got, which I do still love dearly, but come on now. Created by RAGB and released in 2006, while this wasn't the first, it's the first I remember being talked about ever. So here's where I can start. The plot is exactly what you think. Bowser kidnaps Peach. Do I really need to explain any further? But as a hack itself, it's Super Mario World. Naturally, the gameplay itself is fine. It's one of the greatest games of all time. Hacked. So I don't need to mention much more there. You probably played Super Mario World, but if you're living under a rock or you're, I suppose, too young to have experienced it, it's one of the greatest 2D platformers ever made, and it truly put the Super Nintendo, one of my all-time favorite consoles, on the map. It's fun, it has good level design, it controls well, it has lots of fun secrets, and it has replay value to it. I could probably play through this game a million times and not get tired of it. In fact, I probably have played through it close to a million times at this point. And when it popped up on the Game Boy Advance, that was a giant game changer, but you probably knew that my previous statement was just repetitive and it didn't need to be said. But if you haven't played it, you owe it to yourself to give it a spin, whether you play it via a Super Nintendo cartridge, Nintendo Switch Online, or by breaking the law. The main priority of these hacks is the level design entirely, and this game does the level design pretty well. The worlds are laid out at least somewhat similarly to the overworld of the original game, and that's totally cool. The stages do genuinely feel like something you'd stumble across in Super Mario World if you were playing it blind for the first time, at least for the most part. The stages are maybe a pinch more challenging than the original, but it's nothing significant at all. Even a novice should be able to do most of this without much issue. My big gripe comes from the way they incorporated stages with multiple exits. Now, in the original, many stages did have 2 exits, and as a bonus, you'd find a secret and then you'd unlock different paths and even bonus levels. In this one, it feels like more times than not, at least within the portion I played, you have to find a secret simply to progress. Sure, this is a thing in the original, kind of, with the Star Road stages, but those were optional. You didn't have to do those. The only time it was really mandatory was that one level on Chocolate Island. God, that level on Chocolate Island. But it is something worth noting. I beat 2 worlds on this thing, and I was having fun until I sort of hit a wall. In World 1, there was this ghost house that for the life of me I just could not figure out, but that was presumably for a bonus thing, known as Wiggler Woods here. The first level, I just have no clue what to do. I explored everything I could possibly do, and there's not even a goal pole in here, so I don't know. I'm sure there is a solution, and maybe one day I'll stream this game and try to figure out the secret or something and actually beat it, but I could not figure it out for the life of me. But I mean, otherwise, check out this game if you're into the emulation scene or you have a flash card. I mean, it's pretty good. So moving on, we don't need to dwell on any of these hacks super long, because we gotta move on to the first Mario World hack that I've ever owned. Bowser's Return. Or Super Mario World Bowser's Return, and this is gonna be... What? I didn't really know what to expect. It's just like a generic stock picture of Bowser on a bunch of flames. Let's find out. I probably bought this game almost a decade ago, and it seems to have been released sometime in 2007. This was created by Iceman, and this is an interesting one. The plot goes as followed, and I quote, 2 years later, Mario lives on a small and peaceful island. Once again, he thought Bowser was dead, and then it happened. He striked back. He kidnapped the prince. Okay, I don't need to explain this. Bowser kidnaps the princess. You do the Mario. Moving on. This one sticks out in particular because it actually is visually different than the other game. Now, in the Mario ROM hacking world, there's what people refer to as a vanilla hack, which is much like what Return to Dinosaur Land was. Basically, it's just a basic hack of Super Mario World with no bells and whistles. Graphics look the same. There's no added physics or anything. Now, this one, however, has some more flavor because it completely redoes the graphics and even adds in a lot of aspects that were absent in Super Mario World. And it's not just sprite swaps, it's different enemies and everything, and it's a pretty well designed hack. It's a lot more linear than the previous game I looked at. There's almost no secrets at all, just beat the levels and move on. It's also a lot more challenging, which honestly I'm okay with. It's cool to have some Mario challenge, and it's not over the top or anything. We have inspiration from other Mario titles here, such as Mario 3 and even a little bit from Yoshi's Island. It's a neat package. You got a wide variety of levels such as ice levels, volcano levels, and of course, spooky levels. What the heck? I was having a wholesome, fun time, and then they go and spoil it with this dead Yoshi. What the heck? When I said I didn't want a Yoshi game, I didn't mean I wanted them dead. Bowser's Return is a good hack, but a big complaint I have about it is that not that the difficulty is ramped up a bit, but that it appears that you can only save at castles and whatnot after you beat them, which yes, is how it is in the basic Super Mario World, but regular Super Mario World is also much easier. Some people may like that artificial challenge, and if you do, you should definitely check this out, but that is something I did want to address just in case you wanted to try out this game. It might be a deal breaker for some, and I probably would have beaten it if I didn't have to do multiple levels before each save point. But at least I got pretty far, and there tends to be a nonsense death here and there though. That wasn't fair. Okay, so Bowser Returns is a pretty cool hack, but why don't we move on to our next hack? Super Mario 2D Land. Ooh. You have Super Mario 3D Land now. How about Super Mario 2D Land? This one was created by Alex Snow and it came out in, I believe, 2013, so this is a more recent one if it wasn't obvious. It opens up with a letter from the princess, and you guessed it, she was kidnapped again, but this time Bowser's even more dangerous and has enlisted the help of Captain K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country 2. What? She also makes sure to include a second page in her letter and to tell Mario who made the hack. Hello, dear anybody. I'm trapped here beyond my will. Stranded in this room, forced to play Super Mario World hacks. And creating a video on it. And by the way, the theme song is by Shotgun Guy, and I made the thumbnail, you know. This hack also contains more flavor, although not to the degree of Bowser's Return. The overworld map is inspired by Mario 3, as well as a lot of the sprites within the actual game. Enemies range from ones you'd expect to hear, like Koopa Troopas, to out of left field ones, such as the crabs from the original Mario Brothers arcade, as well as some pre-existing enemies with added flavor, like Hammer Brothers that throw bombs at you. For the most part, this one was a lot of fun. Most levels are designed pretty good, and it has a decent variety to it to keep the formula fresh, complete with grasslands, castles, and even a minecart stage with functional minecarts. They're sort of janky, but it's a welcome addition. I guess the Donkey Kong Country inspiration just keeps on coming. The only kind of level that really drives me a bit nutty is the ice ones. They're a little tricky to get right in my opinion, but credit where credit's due. They tried. I genuinely do like this otherwise though. Very little nonsense, although it does have the same issue as the previous game where you can only save when you hit a castle, and that's probably why I didn't get to beat this one either. The boss fights in this also aren't the standard ones, such as the Wiggler who just goes wild at the end of the fight, and this Spiny that just spams fireballs at you. Yeah, that one's not particularly good, but the other ones have potential. My biggest gripe really is something that I realized a little bit into the game. The one castle stage is an auto-scroller, and quite frankly, it's not designed great. The rest of the game, A+, but this auto-scroller just ain't it. Lots of off-screen things you have to know are there, and it's just annoying to keep up with. It's a lot of trial and error. I mean, it's a great hack otherwise, honestly, but unless you really know what you're doing, don't put auto-scrollers into your hack if you're a creator. It'll be better for it. But given that it is a hack, I'll definitely cut it a little bit of a break, and I would say definitely check it out if it interests you. Next up, we got Mario's Missing, done right. I thought it was already done right. I mean, I love Mario's Missing. It's a stupid game, but I love it. Mario's Missing Done Right was released around 2016 and it was created by Gamma 5. To no one's surprise, this is sort of a reimagining of what Mario is Missing could be as a concept. Bowser sets another cataclysmic trap, their words not mine, and Mario falls in, much like the game this is inspired by. You play as Luigi and your goal is to rescue Mario. This one is a fairly linear platformer and the graphics seem to be largely taken from Mario 3. I guess that's a recurring thing in some of these games. The levels are well designed and there's a lot of variety to them. There's also a lot of homage to previous Mario games such as the US Mario 2, Super Mario Land, and others. The worlds range from grasslands to desert to jungle to the sky, all pretty commonplace themes within the Mario universe. I mean, it's sort of like that in every game. And there's no historical trivia or talking to oddball humanoid characters here. While I do definitely have a weird soft spot for Mario is Missing, I think this game probably is objectively a better game, so it is Mario is Missing done right, technically. Though to be fair, Super Mario World itself is a rather high bar. My only real critique is more of a nitpick. The boss fights are just the Koopa Kids, but they're boring versions of the Koopa Kid fights. Not a huge deal, but the originals definitely were better. At least there aren't any stupid auto-scrollers in this level. Man, I can't get anything here. Moving on. Finally, we have a hack that needs a name. No, really, that's what it's called. This hack needs a name with count them, 2 exclamation points. This game actually has a plot that's not just, haha, I'm Bowser, I kidnapped Peach, or against Mario in the case of the previous game. This time, there's someone trapped inside the text box. It's a little weird, but I'm here for it. This one's a bit more vanilla. The sprites generally are Super Mario World sprites with some different colors and pretty backgrounds. In general, the levels are pretty solid, although there absolutely are some stages that are just a tad bit too cryptic, like this one forest stage where you have no indicator where to go and the exit is in a random pipe that you need to go to, but you also need to go a little bit later into the level to grab a spring before you go into the pipe. It's fine though. This game also omits boss fights in the castles for some reason, replacing them with segments where you have to get to the end of the level while usually navigating through these throw boxes. I'd probably just prefer a boss fight if we're being honest. I actually got really into this one. I admittedly only played this for the meme name, but this is a lot of fun. You even have some auto-scrollers that aren't awful. The worlds are pretty linear, and the things being said by whoever is inside the text box are kind of goofy at times, but I really like it when a Mario World hack can have fun. There's also a point where you're in a spooky level and the text box is green and it just says like random letters. I mean, am I playing a creepypasta game or something? But it turns out that that was somebody else. But I swear, my fun has come to a halt in every hack I've played thus far, and this game is no exception. Eventually you get to this airship, which is towards the end of World 7, which I'm guessing is either the last world or the second last world, if I had to guess. So I was so close. It starts out fine, you know, it's just a standard airship section, you know, sort of like what you would see in Mario 3. But then it gets really spicy. You literally hit a dead end, and it's not just that. There's alternating blowtorches on the floor that you cannot surpass, and the wall is too high to jump over. Like, maybe in theory you could fly over this, but even trying to get a cape to do that, I was very unsuccessful. Being an auto-scroller, you just die and die and die. It even teases you with this torpedo Ted going in the direction, but spin jumping off of it was no luck either. I guess that kills my hope of this game not having a terrible auto-scroller. But man, that's disappointing. I was so close to writing this on as the best Mario hack I played yet, and then this happened. At least it saves after every level, I guess. So the world of Super Mario World ROM hacks is an exciting one, and an endless one. I mean, I feel like this probably isn't going to be the only time I look at these, but it's just such a fascinating rabbit hole, and these games are so much fun, and Sure, there's flaws here and there, but I mean, they're made by fans, so I feel like something made by a fan deserves a little bit more of a break, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, any of these games I talked about today are absolutely worth playing, so check them out. Wonder if there's any Yoshi's Island hacks. You know, I guarantee I'm gonna get at least one comment on this video being like, hey, you could play these on an emulator or on an EverDrive, but no, I like the feeling of physically owning these monstrosities and being able to plug them into my Super Nintendo, and I don't know, it makes the adventure a little more fun for me, so